June 27th, 2020, was scammed for a Ruden's bow and 2 grilled pork. It was worth around 1.5 mil. Now, for an early game player who had no money, I felt like quitting, but others have scammed way more and they haven't quit. I started doing research on other scammers, like Waitron, who scammed for 120 mil, or Rogue Sab, scamming for 2.5 mil, mostly just for attention. Now, although these were popular scammers, they didn't scratch the surface of scams. Because in mid-August, a person named I Like to Sweat would change their name into SantaAkin. This would most likely be a reference to their favorite Skyblock YouTubers at the time, the Santa in the name being TimeDeo, and the Akin in the name being, obviously, Akinsoft. And he would change his name the first day he started Hypixel. To give you guys a perspective of the date he joined, Lore 4 has been out for around a month, and Lore 5 went released for around another month. And we didn't know what would happen to him for around a few months. Because on October 23rd, SantaAkin will be popular for dungeon carry scams. The act of doing dungeon carries were relatively simple. The buyer would usually pay half the amount to a carrier, the carrier would then carry them in a certain floor, then the buyer would pay the rest of the money after the carry. That would never happen. People like SantaAkin will pretend to do a carry, but in reality they wouldn't. He did it so frequently that on the 23rd, he started getting recognized as a scammer in random lobbies. And it wasn't even the carriers who were scammers, sometimes the buyers would also scam them by doing this one little trick. Just not paying. Now, it seems like SantaAkin also did normal carries as well as scam carries, but this is probably so he could get verified on some big dungeon carry service. Because if you get verified on a dungeon carry service, that would already make you way more trustable. But it seems that he would only do carries only if he needed a quick buck. But by December, he already had a net worth of 1 billion and was already the owner of the number 6 guild. Also, he was only playing for 4 months. By my 4th month on Skyblock, I was probably, trying to get rid of the speed cap, I wasn't worried about being rich at all. It's not all bad. By mid-December, it seemed like he stopped doing a lot of scams. Well, at least that's what they would want you to think. You see, at this time, I was in the SBL Discord server, but I was banned from it, so I can't really double check on a lot of things. I do remember talking to one of the mods, and they were flexing that someone gave them 20 mil. And do you want to know who it was? That's right, it was SantaAkin. Now, I won't go too deep into this right now, but I'll return back to it in a little bit. And that's because I'm telling you to subscribe. I personally don't care, but it would be nice. Anyway, at this time, it seemed that SantaAkin wanted to get verified on more servers, because he made a mistake and joined SBL and qualified to be a carrier. Well, he tried to qualify. That's because the owner of the server, the Emerald Elytra, pinged everyone to tell them that SantaAkin was a scammer. Which I think is quite funny, like one person on the forums who's hated is calling out another person on the forums that's hated. Anyway, a bunch of people were harassing him, on the forums, on Discord, and a bunch of people were also mad at the Emerald Elytra. Because if you've ever pinged at everyone in a Discord server, like 3 people leave. Now imagine if you have a Discord server that has 10,000 people in it. So he probably sacrificed 100 of his own members just to call out this one guy. And it worked. Because shortly after, people have been hearing rumors that he was going to quit. Him giving out money was way more frequent. And it was around this time where I first talked to him. And the first thing I said to him was me asking him for money. What did you expect of me? I'll also say that I might make a video on him, to kind of like make him give me money more. Okay, it's kind of a scummy thing, but there's like no video ideas on YouTube at that time. Anyway, he said that he was okay with me making a video on him, and we talked about bone rings for a while. Then a couple days later, I asked him if he was a scammer, and he admitted that he was a scammer and he was the #1 most infamous scammer. LOL. Anyway, I started asking him some questions here and there, like what was his net worth at his peak, how much he scammed, and confirming that he gave away 1.2 billion coins. And surprisingly, he answered all of them, saying that his peak net worth was around 5 billion, and he scammed for around 2 billion, and he also confirmed to saying that he gave away 1.2 billion. And then he told me that he was just quitting Skyblock. Anyway, I asked him what his scams were like, and he said that he actually popularized essence scamming. Now, personally, I don't essence scam, so I don't really know, but I'm just going to take his word on it. And he also said that all the scamming started with an aspect of the dragon scam. Now, he said that he traded a 4-star aspect of the dragons for full Shadow Assassin. He said that he did this around when 4-5 was the hardest floor. Now personally, I don't know how he did it, but I probably have an idea of how he did it. He probably just pretend like his aspect of the dragons was Shadow Fury, which would be around the same cost of full Shadow Assassin, but he also stated that he traded for a 4-star aspect of the dragons. So personally, I don't really know. I've asked him, but he hasn't replied yet. Then, super casually, he says that he backpack scammed a Hyperion. Now this was probably an essence scam, but how? How do you backpack scam a Hyperion? That's around 1/4 of the total profit he made while scamming. And he did it with just one scam. And then I was planning to just VC him on Friday to ask him how he did them. You know, so I can actually explain like what I'm doing right now in the video. Then he said that he was nervous and I didn't really know what to feel about it, so I ended up just forgetting about it. Anyways, a couple months later I tried visiting him and his profile does not exist. Anyway, I guess this next part is the aftermath. Honestly, I don't really know what to call this. Now, I decided to check name MC because most of the time scammers aren't really banned, and it seemed that he changed his name just a week ago into LemonT17. Anyway, I visited LemonT17 and started investigating. I tried to look for hints to see where they went, and I only saw 7 snow minions still active. Now the thing about snow minions is that they fill up really easily, and that would mean him or his co-op member will probably have to keep on collecting all the materials. But then, like an idiot, I checked the tab list, and I remember that actually shows them when they were last online. And surprisingly, it was pretty recently, considering that he said that he was quitting. Now what probably happened is that he had to change his name into something else, so he wouldn't get harassed at like lobby 1 or something. Anyway, while looking at his island, I found one thing that stood out. It was a cake soul. Now the thing about cake souls is that they're actually really expensive right now. I think they're like 9 mil. So who would be so important enough to capture in the cake soul? TNT PvP. And as a little bonus, you can actually see that SantaAkin captured his soul. He also had the same MVP++ colors as SantaAkin. But we could 100% confirm that LemonT is SantaAkin and NameMC just didn't glitch out. Anyway, I visited TNT PvP and I started to look around. Instead of SantaAkin, where there was little information to go off of, for TNT PvP, there was a lot of information. First of all, his main island was the second phase of Necron, which in itself is actually pretty cool. But there's also a little secret area. Whenever you beat Necron, there's like a little chest room, and he remade that chest room. The thing about it is that there's an NPC inside, and we could confirm that that NPC is talking about dungeon carries, the same thing that SantaAkin did to get popular and money. But the different thing is that these carries actually looked more legit. Why would he build this much just to scam, and while also being Catacombs 36? Personally, it just doesn't really make any sense. Plus, in a recent update where carries were basically killed, this made the NPC's information actually incorrect, as right here it states that he's Catacombs 36, but if you actually check his stats, he's Catacombs 37. We can already confirm that he's a legit player that has some sort of connection to SantaAkin. Anyway, I joined Dungeon's Hub and had a look around. I found his account and I messaged him. Okay, I need your help.
What?
Okay, I need answers. About SantaAkin. Do you know him?
What will that give?
A better understanding.
Of what?
Of the situation. I just want to make a video about him.
A video of what?
SantaAkin.
No shit.
Then why do you ask?
Well, I don't know him at all, sorry. Never heard of him, see ya.
Wait, so are you important? Because at his island he has a cake soul of you. That led me to your island and I found your Discord. If you know anything about SantaAkin.
Well, I do.
Can I know?
Will cost you.
Coins?
Yes.
Bruh, how much for the info?
Feed my emerald blade. 5 to 10 million depending on my mood.
Bruh. Now, although I almost got scammed, I also got some information. Anyway, the next day we VC'd and we talked about random stuff. About SantaAkin, you know, about the owner of SBL blackmailing his own staff. The usual. Now, he actually told me that he was the new guild owner, which actually makes sense, because this would explain why he's connected. He also said that whenever SantaAkin scammed, it would be for around 6 mil at the time, which is actually correct because that's how much a 4-7 carry would actually be. Also, he kicked everyone out of the guild and apparently gave it to TNT, but sadly TNT did not get any sort of coins, just the empty guild. And then he showed a screenshot showing that he 100% has his soul. So that would mean that they're connected, right? Well, yeah, it's quite obvious that they're connected. But the cherry on top is that he actually sent me an invite to their Discord server. Now, this Discord server is dead, like even deader than my own Discord server, which you should join by the way. Link is inside the comments. But for real, the only reason why people actually use the server was to use the bot's net worth command, including me. But sadly, it does seem that this is as far as it goes. Anyway, this case will remain unsolved. Now, this wasn't really the history, but more of the mystery of SantaAkin. Just don't get scammed in Hypixel. Goodbye.